I said this last year, I really, really love Revenge of the Fallen Devastator. What they did with that combiner is brilliant. I think it's kind of sitting over there a bit unfinished because I used some of the elements in a review that I was filming, in fact, this very review. But it is a fantastic combiner and probably the better of the two Legion combiners that we've gotten over the years. But in the Revenge of the Fallen lineup, we did actually get two non-combining versions of the characters featured in that set. We have Longhaul and we have Rampage, and yes, Rampage is in the red that was shown in the standalone version, so the colours do make sense. But still, is there really a point to these characters if we already have combining versions? I don't know. We'll have to take a look at them. So, please forgive me for the audio issues from the last two episodes. I had a corruption issue on my computer, and unfortunately I couldn't rectify that. But, you know, we're back on schedule. We're back on schedule here. All is good. So, here we have Rampage and Longhaul, and they don't combine. I don't get it. I don't know why they made these and then made the full combiner later on. It doesn't make any sense, but whatever. In terms of vehicle modes, they are very, very nice. Far more realistic than their other Legion counterparts, but in general, at what cost? I mean, what do we really get from it? A little bit of realism for these vehicle modes, yet they just become far too simple. Anyway, Longhaul I think I prefer quite a bit more, simply because, you know, it really sells you on the sheer chunkitude of that. But he's still not really that accurate. Now, don't get me wrong, Rampage is far more accurate, but still. Let me see if I can find the Studio Series versions just for a second. Okay, so I don't currently have Rampage on me, I can't find him, but as you can see with Longhaul, they've tried to make it more accurate, but if you really think about it, technically, the Legends version from earlier, the Combining Legends one, is slightly more accurate to this one. I guess. I don't really get the point of all this. Rampage is looking far more accurate, if I remember correctly, based on how the Studio Series 1 transformed, but I'll pull up a picture and double check that later. Still, if I'm comparing these two, accuracy or no, yeah, ignore the colours, because that's the G1 combined version, this does look a lot better. This does look far, far better in general. I mean, yeah, you do have to sacrifice the version of combining, but credit where credit is due. Like, the tires make more sense, this just looks a bit dinky. Still, if I'm being completely honest, I don't think the sacrifice is worth it. I mean, it's good, and it's good that we've got a bed that actually looks the part this time, but without combining, it just doesn't really seem like a point. And then comparing the two Pogo boys here, and please do forgive me, I did actually break a piece off as I was getting it out of storage earlier. I do apologize for that. This does look more realistic and probably more accurate, especially in the colors, because this one, I believe, was yellow in the original. Well, although that was accurate into the yellow of the actual combined mode, whereas Studio Series has gone for the... the Constructicons are confusing, but still, it is better in vehicle mode, but not better to the extent that I think it justifies being a full thing. It really doesn't make much sense why they would do a standalone figure that happens to look better. Would you buy individually transforming G1 Constructicons that didn't have the combined mode? No, I didn't think so. Most people buy combiners for the combined mode, and if the individual bots are really bloody good, that's a bonus. I'm pretty sure I speak for most collectors in that instance. For size comparisons, here we have a standard Legion figure, proving that this size class has no semblance of scale whatsoever, a standard Legends figure, a standard Siege Micromaster, a not-so-standard LEGO minifigure, and crumbs. And that brings us to the transformation. For Longhaul, you just want to take these two parts off here, which will then allow you to uncurl the legs like so. You come around here and open up the arms, collapse the legs there, separate the legs, done deal. Very, very simple transformation. About as simple as the original, but rather different. Rampage is also pretty simple. All you want to do is untab these just temporarily. That will allow you to fully rotate that up and then extend these like so. It can go further and lock in place like that, but I don't believe it's supposed to. I think that's just a design flaw. You then rotate the arms down like so, extend it, and you can then have it in pogo situation or push those back and have two separate legs, and that's really the only way you can actually stand him, like so. And yeah, he's got stability issues, woohoo. So we have one upgrade over the original in robot mode, and one severe downgrade. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, in general, Longhaul does have his share of issues. For example, he does have a tendency to wheel himself around if you don't put him in a far enough A stance. If it's like this, whee! Whereas if you just put him in a little A stance, which I will admit is a little bit difficult, he should be fine. The sculpted detail on him is remarkable. The way they've captured his chest and the way they've captured the wheels at the back here, it all looks really, really nice. I mean, you compare him next to the Combiner version, and if you adjust the camera to focus on him properly, yeah, you can see a lot of sacrifices were made here. Still, necessary sacrifices. This guy was actually supposed to combine, and as such, the thin chest, the overly long legs, everything, it makes sense. And I mean, this guy is great on his own, but are there really any huge fans of Longhaul, aside from maybe the bot posters who make memes out of the Studio Series stock photos? Yeah, I mean, he's okay, but Longhaul's always afoot. Unless he's maybe the Revenge of the Fallen one, but even that's been replaced by the infinitely better Studio Series one. But you can make the arguments that Longhaul is better. Not with old Pogo Boy over here, which is very difficult to stand thanks to the stability issues. Like, I can get it to work, just barely sometimes, but not all the time. It's very, very bloody difficult. Again, forgive the fact that this is partially broken, but yeah, take a look at this. And yeah, at the very least, this guy does stand a lot better. The sacrifices here made a lot more sense. You can get the pogo system by collapsing in the legs and doing that, but there's no stand port for him, and he kind of sucks. Not to mention, if you want him to actually be straight, he has to be almost sitting. In general, it's just a very poorly designed toy. I don't get why this was a thing. I was baffled even as a kid when I had this. It is so bizarre, and, well, I'm probably going to forget about it once this review's over, but thinking about it now, despite the fact it's got a lot of great paints that the Combined mode doesn't have, and some great surface detail, nah, it's not really worth it. Besides, the claws just make him look like a lobster as opposed to anything else. Of course, the articulation is a hinge here, two ball joints that barely go out. They do get some high kicks, but barely far back, and then these feet are mainly used for stability. It ain't great. Oh, and he does fall over, but, like, he also has to combine, and he stood up for far longer than, you know, this version of Rampage. Let's get rid of these right now. We don't need those bastards. Longhaul's posability is alright. He's got an inward so that he can try and move it across his chest, which is actually pretty cool. He's also got a ball joint that acts more as a swivel. It unfortunately doesn't get anything out. He's got ball joints here that unfortunately only go out, but they do get a slight thigh swivel like that. And nothing out. One, the ball joint just falls off because it's got the stupid, you know, tolerances there. The cut of the ball joint's wrong, and it's got this kibble on the side, so it wouldn't work anyway. And for some reason, there's no knee. I mean, I get what they're going for here, but the transformation allows the knee to go backwards. So if they'd left a cut back here, they could have had some knee articulation, but for some reason they don't. But hey, at least he's got an A stance. Oh, and he fell over. Oh, wow. Funny how the combining versions have better stability. It is really, really weird. And I believe that might cause a few issues with the size comparison, so let's try to get these guys to cooperate. Yes! Here he is next to a standard Legion figure, a standard Legends figure. Let's move the camera up so we can actually see it. A standard Siege Micromaster, a not-so-standard LEGO minifigure, and Crumbs, who features both of the primary colours of these two figures, coincidentally. So yeah, I don't really think these guys are worth it. Just get the Devastator Combined mode, it's much more fun. So yes, Longhaul is good enough to stand on his own, and I can kind of see why people would want to own both of them, because Longhaul is a very fan-favourite character, given his chunky design and his ties to his original Constructicon counterpart from G1. But Rampage, just no, there's really no reason to purchase him. He's kind of shit. Don't get me wrong, he's painted well, but just his construction ain't that good. In fact, I'm only just noticing this now, but he's got a complete hollow part in the middle right there. I didn't realise that as I was reviewing him. I've only just realised it as I was filming this. Even if he wasn't hollow, though, it's just not that great a figure. We already have a perfectly functioning combined version that actually stands up properly compared to this piece of junk. So, yeah, if you want Longhaul, go ahead and grab him. If you want this guy, don't. There's really no purpose to it. And with... Bye.